Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
If you can just please state your name for me.
Ricky Starren.
Thank you.
I am here today to share the profound and devastating impact that the murder and dismemberment of my daughter, Manijeh, also known as Manny, Starren, has had on my life, my family, and everyone who loved her. Manny was more than just my daughter. She was a light in our lives, a source of joy, strength, and unconditional love. Manny was kind-hearted, loving, and incredibly talented. She had an eye for design and could have easily been an interior designer. I miss sending her pictures of my walls or asking her for advice on color schemes or where to hang things. Her input always brought out the best in any space. Now I can't even bring myself to paint or decorate anymore because of the joy of it is gone without her. Manny was also pursuing a nursing degree, but she had to put her education on hold to care for her son Axel. She would have been an amazing nurse. Manny loved elderly people, children, and anyone in need. She was so soft-hearted and had a natural ability to care for others. Her dreams of making a difference in the world were as bright as her spirit. Her absence has left an irreplaceable void, not only in her family, but also in the lives of all the people she would have helped and cared for in the future. Manny did struggle with addiction, but I know in my heart that with treatment and support, she could have overcome it. She was determined and had so much to live for, her children, her dreams, and her family who loved her unconditionally. Her struggles never defined her. She was the same kind and loving and talented person who brought joy to everyone around her. Her addiction was a challenge, not her identity, and I have no doubt that she would have found her way if she had been given the chance. One thing that makes this tragedy even harder to bear is knowing that Manny told me she wanted to be an organ donor. If anything ever happened to her, she wanted to give her life to others, even in death. That was also stolen from her. Her selfishness and desire to help others could have saved lives, but even that choice was taken from her by this heinous crime. The events surrounding her death have caused indescribable pain and anguish. The knowledge of how she suffered and the inhumanity of what was done to her haunt me every moment of every day. I struggle to sleep at night, and when I do, my dreams are filled with the horror of what she endured. There is no escape from the grief and the trauma. It has taken over every part of my life. One of the most painful parts of this tragedy is the guilt I carry. A month before she went missing, Manny called me. She was outside someone's apartment. An apartment I know now was Joe Jorgenson's. She sent me pictures and said something that will stay with me forever. If I ever go missing, don't ever stop looking for me. I'll never forget when Manny went missing. Her daughter, Colby, looked up at me with confusion and pain in her eyes and asked, "Is my mom just being a bad mom for not calling?" Those words broke my heart because I could see how deeply she was trying to make sense of something no child should ever have to face. I'll also never forget the deception Joe Jorgenson used to try and cover up his crime. I managed to get his phone number and messaged him, desperately searching for answers. He sent me a video of himself walking through Manny's apartment to prove she wasn't there. But in the video, I saw him make a big mistake. He set her keys down. That moment confirmed my worst fears. I knew something terrible had happened to her, but I never imagined it would lead to the nightmare of her being killed and dismembered. When we went to clean out Manny's apartment, I'll never forget what we found. The broken TV screen, the shattered microwave glass, and splintered door just spoke volumes about what she must have gone through. I know my daughter must have put up a heck of a fight. She was strong and she was a fighter. The fear she must have felt in those moments is something I can't stop thinking about. And to know that she was not only killed, but also cut apart after her death is something I will never, ever get over. While we were in St. Paul hanging up missing photos and begging people to help us find Manny, I now know she was laying in pieces in the storage unit. The thought of that haunts me. How could anyone do something like that to another human being, let alone someone as kind and loving as Manny? The cruelty and humanity of it all is impossible to comprehend. What haunts me most is wondering why. If Joe was so angry that Manny asked him to leave her apartment, why didn't he just leave? It was her apartment, her space, and she had every right to ask him to go. I will never understand why he made the choice to hurt her instead. I also can't stop thinking about what might have happened if Manny's 4-year-old son at the time Axel had been there that day. The thought of what Joe might have done to him terrifies me. I am grateful Axel wasn't there, but I'll never stop wondering about the what ifs. The impact of this crime extends far beyond me. My entire family and all of Manny's friends are devastated. Her children, Colby, Titan, and Axel, have been robbed of their mother's love, guidance, and support. Colby has faced unimaginable pain, and the fear and confusion she expressed after her mom went missing broke my heart. Titan and Axel will grow up without the chance to know their mother as they should have, to feel her love and to have her present for all the milestones in their life. The trauma of this tragedy will forever shape their lives in ways that no child should ever have to experience. I do want to say that I recognize and feel bad for the pain that Joseph Jorgenson's family must be going through. I can't imagine what it's like for them to have someone they love connected to such horrific acts. At the same time, knowing what I do now, I can't help but feel that the punishment does not reflect the full gravity of what he did. I wish Joe Jorgenson would serve 40 years for each victim, Mani and Fanta. Their lives were stolen, and no sentence could ever truly equal the pain and loss they caused. No parent should have to bury their child, let alone in such horrific and senseless manner. The loss of Manny has not only taken away a beloved family member, but also robbed the world of her potential, her dreams, and the impact she could have made. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You can state your name, sir.
Name Marvin Starren, and the father of Manny, as we all lovingly called her. Manny was my daughter, my heart, and my irreplaceable part of our family. Losing her has shattered our lives in ways I could never imagine. Every time I drive truck through St. Paul, I feel the ache of her absence. I used to call her and tell her I was in town, and we'd catch up on things. And now there's only silence where her voice used to be. I miss her more than words can express, and that pain never goes away. Watching her children live without their mother is one of the hardest things I have experienced. Her daughter Colby broke down during parents' night at basketball last year, overwhelmed by the absence of her mom. Titan tears up whenever we talk about her, and little Axel will never have the chance to know his mom or feel her love. It's unbearable to think about what they've lost. Another painful part of the tragedy is seeing her brother Noah trying to navigate life without his sister. They grew up like best friends, always so close and supportive of each other. Now there's a gap in his life and nothing can ever fill. The bond that they shared was special, and to see it ripped away is heartbreaking. Manny wasn't just my daughter, she was the glue in so many relationships, a mother, a sister, and a friend to countless people. Her life was stolen. The hole that's left in our family will never be filled. The ripple effects of this tragedy have touched every part of our lives. I hope that justice for Manny can bring some measures of peace to her children, her brother, and all of us who loved her. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm Richard Bear, Manny's uncle. Your Honor, today as I sit down to write this letter, my heart is filled with indescribable pain and grief over the loss of my niece, Manny. No words can truly capture the pain our family has endured since she was stolen from us in the most horrific way imaginable. Manny was not just my niece, she was a daughter, a sister to Noah and Kendra, a friend, but most importantly, she was the loving and devoted mom of 3 beautiful children, Colby, Titan, and Axel, who are now left to navigate the world without her. Her children will never hear their mother's voice again or hear the way she always said, "I love you" to the moon and back. They will never feel the warmth or the hugs or see the proud and beautiful smile on her face as they grow. Instead of hearing her laughter, they are left with nightmares and an aching void that no child should ever have to endure. They are forced to live with the knowledge that the woman who gave them life was taken in such a brutal, inhumane way. No child should ever have to go through that and the level of loss and trauma. And yet, Manny's children must now grow up without their mother who loved them more than anything. Manny's daughter, Colby, has nightmares that this will happen to her if the defendant gets out of jail. No 14-year-old should have to have a fear like this. I think of my sister, Ricky, and brother-in-law, Marvin, Manny's parents, the torment they must feel losing a child. No parent should ever have to go through the loss of a child, let alone the horrific way Manny was taken from us. The sleepless nights and nightmares they face each night as they go to bed. The details of her murder will always haunt us. To know that someone could not only take her life, but dismember her body and discard her and throw her body in a cold, dark storage unit to rot as if she were nothing is something that we will never be able to comprehend. Manny was not nothing. She was everything to us. She was a light, a source of love and strength. Manny had the kindest heart you could imagine, and she deserved so much more than to have her life end in such cruelty. Our family's broken. The weight of grief we carry every day is unbearable. We will never again celebrate her birthdays, never again hear her laughter, never again have the chance to tell her how much we love her, never get the chance to see what amazing things she could have done with her life. I think of the time she was in nursing school and how she was so proud to be on the dean's list. Her passion was helping others besides decorating, especially helping people with disabilities and the elderly. I think of how much compassion she had for others and how she saw the good in everyone. She will never get the chance to spread her love in a career that I think she was destined for. No punishment will ever bring Manny back to us, but the person responsible should never have the chance to inflict pain on another person and family. I think of Fanta and her family and how this has happened to 2 beautiful girls. Manny's voice was silenced, but ours will not be. We will continue to speak for her. We will continue to fight for her. We ask that this court recognize the gravity of this crime and ensure that justice is served in both girls' names, Manijeh, Starren, and Fanta Xayavong. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, sir.